Hello everyone, this is Colin once again. I know I just made a video not too long ago against Ahmad's Quran 3, and how I said I wasn't going to make, or my next video was going to be about the New Testament. Well, that's still a true statement, except I have received a very interesting message from someone who I actually know personally. You see, I posted my video against Ahmad's Quran 3, and my mother said she received an email from my aunt. And the email consisted of, she received it, I don't know how my aunt received the email, but the email in question apparently was sent by some sort of hate group who hates Islam. I guess they're spamming people with this email. And in this email, they show pictures of a young boy in Iran. And the young boy, apparently, according to this hate email, is saying that how can Islam be called a religion of peace? How can any religion justify these sort of tortures and things like this? And then it shows a series of pictures. And it shows a series of pictures of a young boy in Iran. And apparently the captions read that he stole a loaf of bread in a nearby marketplace, and he was caught doing this. And apparently he's being punished for stealing the bread. And apparently the way they're punishing him is by running over his arm with the tire of a car. Apparently they're actually going to run over his arm, thus rendering it he won't be able to use it after they do this to him. And they show these series of pictures. And the pictures, they look very authentic. They are actually authentic. For those of you who think instantly this is a Photoshop job, actually this is an authentic, these are actually authentic photographs. This really did happen. The photos really do capture this real life event. But there's something wrong with the story behind the pictures. Okay, for those of you who actually think, wait a minute, what's going on here? Did Ozzy just say that this event actually happened? Let me rephrase. This event, i.e. apparently a child in Iran having a truck car tire run over his arm, apparently that did happen. These pictures are authentic. But what is the story? Again, I'd like to repeat, what is the true story? Now, for those of you who know anything about Islam, which obviously these haters who are spamming with this email, these haters know nothing about Islam. Because, first off, if any of you are familiar with Sharia law, you would know that according to Sharia law, that a person can only be charged with theft if they've reached the age of puberty, if they are basically considered an adult by whatever culture or country they belong to. There's no actual age limit in Sharia law when it comes to theft, but it is a known fact that the person has to be considered an adult by whatever society they're living in order to be charged with theft. Now, according to classical Sharia law, food does not constitute being punished, because according to the caliphs and according to the scholars of Islam, if someone is stealing food, it means there's something wrong with the society, and they cannot actually be punished for theft. Plus, the item in question has to go over a certain amount, and as I tell people nowadays, I mean, this might be a too incorrect of an analogy, but to many of my non-Muslim friends, I actually use this analogy. I say that basically if you steal something of the equivalent of a Lexus, you're going to get punished for theft. That's if you are not actually mentally challenged or a child for that matter. You have to be a mentally sane adult equivalent thereof. You have to know what's right or wrong, and you have to know the consequences and things like this. And to my knowledge, in Iran, when you're 8, you're not considered an adult. Plus, what's wrong with this picture? No pun intended. But first off, the implement of the punishment is that if caught in things like this, and if the person wants to actually charge you with this crime, plus the Quran does mention that if you if the person actually just forgives you and you pay back what is owed to them, if you return the item in question, you actually are not punished. But if you gobble up this piece of bread and then you are let's say hypothetically this actually constitutes a punishment. You actually use the item, you crash the person's Lexus and things like this. The person doesn't care if you replace the Lexus, he wants you punished. Then the punishment actually, if they can prove that you did this, is that your hand is then cut off. So this is the punishment, not running over the person with a tire, okay? Not running over the person's arm. This is not a punishment in Sharia law. So even if this punishment was legitimate, let's just pretend it was legitimate, this would go against Sharia law. This would be an innovation. This would not actually constitute. This would be against the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad and the Sharia law. But what's more entertaining than this? Do a simple Google check, everyone. Google 8-year-old punished Iran. Just do that. 8-year-old punished Iran, and you're going to come up with a couple hits by other hate websites that just reproduce what the email spammers were putting for people's emails. And I'll post that link in the description section to show you their blatant lies. And why do I say blatant lies? Because come to find out, when you Google 8-year-old punished Iran, you come upon a website called Urban Legends. Oh, Urban Legends! Oh, Urban Legends. And you know what Urban Legends proves? That this is a bunch of horse crap. That apparently these pictures do not illustrate a child being punished in Iran. It's actually a street magic illusion act. Oh! And these haters omit the 7th and 8th picture, which shows the child unharmed, standing there with the guy with the microphone as shown in picture 1, and then you come to find out this was an illusion. This was a magic show done in the streets of a city in Iran. But these haters hijack these pictures, omit the 7th and 8th picture because it will prove them wrong, and then they spam people with their email trying to prove that Islam's an evil religion, who would punish an 8-year-old for something like this, even though they know nothing about Sharia law, as I've already illustrated, because they're a bunch of ignoramus bigots. But of course, this is nothing new, considering that most of the bigots out there know jack about Islam, even though they think they know. But with the case of these people, they actually knew these pictures were not a punishment because, as urbanlegends.com proved, they omitted the pictures that prove that it was a street illusion. So this video is dedicated to the bigots out there that knowingly deceive people about Islam. That knowingly deceive people. I mean, I wasn't even going to make this video. I wasn't even aware of this until my aunt forwarded this email and asked me personally to respond to it. So this video is dedicated to my aunt as well. Thank you very much for bringing me these emails, and thank you so much for realizing that this was a crock and really seeking the truth. I appreciate that. So thank you everyone for watching. This is dedicated to all of you as well, who are standing for truth, honesty, and standing up against the bigots, the liars, and the haters against the religion of Islam. Thank you everyone for watching. Peace be with you all.